Hello, this is Dr. Helen. Welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to check about bone broths. It seems like recent years bone broths becoming so popular. For that reason, I went to different grocery store to check out the bone broth recipe. And to my surprise, mostly the bone broths made from chicken bone. The reason why I'm saying that is chicken bone does not have a bone mass. In order to make better bone broth, you have to use a bigger animal bone, which have a lot of bone mass, bone marrow, a lot of collagen, full of nutrition. Now let's check what is the best bone to make for bone broth and what is the benefit of the bone broth to our human body. Through the long history of traditional Chinese medicine, we use food to heal body and promote well-being longevity in different stages. Bone broth as one of the food therapy. Why bone broths can heal us? Because traditional Chinese medicine believe our bone marrows, sexuality, and development as aging is all controlled by one of a vital organ called kidney. When kidney energy deficiency, of course, the deficiency can be both type of deficiency. One is a physical deficiency. That means when we were young, our kidney or other organ energy is very strong and young. When we reach a certain age, for example, after menopause or become elderly, our organs still function normal. But of course, cannot compare when we were young. That's called physiological deficiency. That's considered as normal. If it's a pathological deficiency, we will have a lot of trouble. For example, after long-term medication, young people have a hormone disorder or malnutrition, or after menopause, we start to develop osteoporosis, or young people who has different kind of disorders become infertility, or lower immunity, we prone to have virus infections, bacterial infection, or prone to have a cancer. All those disorders related to our immunity, and traditional Chinese medicine talk about kidney energy related to our immunity. So bone broth can help and restore our body immunity and healing variety kind of a disease. Of course, there's no one magic elixir can heal everything. Bone broth just the base. We use that as the basic, but we add in different kind of prescription herb in the bone broth in order to treat different kinds of diseases, or just use different kind of mushroom to promote well-being and longevity. Now I would like to share one of a bone broth recipe just for promote well-being and longevity and make you look younger. Before we're doing that, I would like to say, before you make any bone broth, you have to cook the bone first with regular water for 5 to 10 minutes, and then throw out everything of the water and rewash the bone and put it back in the pot to start to make a soup with your filtered water. The reason why is Chinese medicine always believe when doing the handling of the bones, or the bone have some kind of a impurity. The first cook, you can see a lot of dirty film on the top of the water. So that's why the first cook, you need to throw away the water. When you finish your bone broth, you can see how good your bone broth is by put it back to the refrigerator. If your bone broth become a gelatin, that means wonderful bone broths. They have so much collagen. It's already liquefied, easy and ready for body absorbed the whole nutrition without a burden your digestive systems, which is can restore your tissues use and rejuvenate your bone and promote well-being longevity because it can strengthen your energy in kidney organ. This is the second cook. Make sure every time when you make a bone broth, you have to cook the bone first boil for 5 to 10 minutes, and then through all the waters and we rinse again, and then put it back in the pot with the filtered water. And then I put a little bit of cooking wine and ginger. After the mushrooms get ready, I will put the mushroom in and then put the sea salt. You can cook for 3 to 4 hours until the juice become very milky, and then everything falling apart. What I like to have the bone is either the bone still have a cartilage on it, bone marrows, and a lot of tendons. So that way, you have all the nutrients for your bone need, for your body repair. Those are the mushrooms I use in the bone broth for people who have lower immunity, osteoporosis, and just for whole well-being. This is like black wood ear of mushrooms, which is the best detox body, almost like blood filters, promote well-being longevity. This is a dried shiitake mushrooms, of course, increase body immunity. And these special tea mushrooms, this tea mushroom have a very special fragrance, which is almost not as potent as shiitake mushroom, but definitely bring a lot of flavors. White wood ear. These mushrooms actually is a lot of people not familiar in the Western world culture. This mushroom is good for lung, especially during the dry season. You have a dry cough and dry skin. This is a mushroom you need use. And then I will put 2 big jujube, which yes, the bone broth now is boiling, but you still can see some kind of a film on the surface, even though the first cook already threw a lot. But we still have to take this out. So now the soup is pretty clean and will become milky white after cooking for a long time. That is a big bone with the cartilage and tendons, everything. Okay, and that is the ginger. But now what I need to do is I have to cut the mushrooms, each one of them cut very thin slice, and then break down this mushroom with small pieces before I put it in. Now I put everything, mushrooms, put in the big bone soup, and then I just let it boil for hours. Of course, put the sea salt. And then you can save the broth and for any other purpose in the kitchen. For example, you make your own noodle soup, you just drink the broth for elderly people, or use that for make cook the rice and potatoes, but the broth is almost like the elixirs for everything you cook in the kitchen that will promote your health. Thank you. This is Dr. Helen Hu. I am the author of Chinese Food Therapy, Prescription for Self-Healing. If you find a more different kind of variety food therapy recipe, it's all in this book. You can get ebook from Google and Apple iTunes. The hard copy book, I'm the only one to carry it. If you want to have a copy, please contact me. Thank you.